yoga class, although I'm a little bit tentative to say that it's a yin yoga class, because what we're going to be doing today is really a fusion between breathwork and yin. And basically this is to release tension and anxiety, which we all tend to feel, whether we can translate it to, for example, feeling stressed, but it's basically the same thing. So what we're going to be doing is just releasing naturally some things through breathwork and also being in some yin positions at the same time. So it's conveniently distracting you from your body and the way that we stretch. So for the purists out there, I'm very aware that you don't have controlled breath normally in yin work, but this is specific for this class. And of course I will be doing a lot of breath work, especially in shorts, as I've said before. So this is basically introduction a little bit to that as well. So with that said, make yourself as comfortable as possible. Maybe a cushion under the base of the spine. And we're just going to start with a short relaxation meditation. So I'd like you to sit into your pelvis. So allowing the back to just be in a natural position. And we rest the hands gently on the knees. That encourages the body just to come slightly forward. So maybe the wrists on the knees. And then we close the eyes. And we're going to start today with some deep, conscious breathing. So what I'd like you to do is to just take a nice long inhale and just gently hold the breath at the top of the breath. And then you're simply going to relax and allow the air to leave your body. So it's not an active exhale, it's a passive exhale. So we can just do this together just for 1 or 2 minutes. So inhale, we feel the body, we hold, and then we relax and watch as the air leaves the body. Each time you hold the breath, to encourage the body to relax completely. Just relying completely on the earth energy beneath you, as we've been talking about before. Simple gravity. Just allow you to relax. So each time you hold the breath, you can actually say the word to yourself as you hold the breath. Relax. Especially if you're new to breath work, often in the beginning tend to question yourself, am I doing it right? Or it's just to do what you do, and have some humor. If you don't know what you're doing at all, then don't know anything at all. It's okay. As usual now, coming up to the silence of your mind. Becoming aware of the space of the mind and finding the center point where we can watch with compassion, understanding. It is a place of infinite wisdom. And then we gently open the eyes. Welcome. Maybe noticing just a little bit how you're actually feeling at this particular moment in time. And this, I would say, is pretty much the opposite to the anti-meditation, which if you haven't watched, then you should watch that as well. It is another form of meditation with a little bit of humor involved. So as I said, we don't be too serious, we're just looking and watching and just experiencing what's actually happening. So we're going to move into the next position, and we're going to be coming into butterfly, so I'm just going to move this away. Good. So you can keep the cushion under the base of the spine if you wish. And again, this just helps you to sit down into the pelvis. And of course, as I always say, you can support as much as you need to under the thighs. So if you feel that it's too much to have the knees straight out to the side or just hanging in this position, just allowing them to be as relaxed as possible. And today we're going to just hold the feet. We're not sort of holding on to them, we're not trying to hold the position, we're allowing the cushion which is under the base of the spine to allow us to relax down into the body. So just rest your hands on the feet, allow the hips to be relaxed, and we're going to just gently close the eyes. So at the moment I want you to allow the breath to be completely natural and relaxed. And just experience the breath passing in and out of the body and the gentle movement of the body as it expands and contracts. If you find yourself controlling the breathing, then just let it go. As I said last week, it's a little bit like when you're asleep. You don't actually have to sort of be half awake and thinking inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. It is an automatic process, and we're just simply acknowledging this, watching the beauty of it. Good. And just for the last 2 minutes of this position, we're now going to introduce some breath work again. So what I'd like you to do is inhale as we did before, so you're actively filling the lungs, and then as you exhale, I want you to do this through the mouth and use the word ha, like H-A. So basically I'll just show you what I mean. We're just going to breathe in and then ah. One more time. Ah. And just keep doing this in your own time. Ah. And just make the breath as long as possible. Ah. 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 So just continue breathing in this way, and I'll talk to you at the same time. Often we feel like self-conscious, that we're making noise and maybe someone's going to think that we're weird or something like that. But just let that go, just be, and just almost laugh at it, like ha, 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 ha. Ha, Ha. Almost sort of, not really sarcastic, but just like, I don't really give a damn. I'm just going to breathe like this anyway. Ha. 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 Just lengthen, just for the last 30 seconds, just lengthening the ha, and as long as possible. And then you can open the eyes. Good. Did anybody feel self-conscious?
Yes.
I think maybe just a little bit. There's some smiling in the room, which is important. Okay, so again, as I said, don't take this too seriously. And this isn't some kind of joke. It is actually part of the breathing work or breath work. But we don't always make a lot of sound. But this is quite nice. So just now, while I've been distracting you talking in this way, just feel how your body feels and how your mind feels. Maybe it's just a little bit different. Are you feeling that? Good. Okay. So we don't have to take these things too seriously. It's interesting when we let go of we need to do this in a specific way, or we don't want to be embarrassed, or maybe the neighbors can hear us. You know, it's just, we let that go. And it's all about what we're feeling that's important, not what anybody else is feeling. And as I said last week, when our lives are controlled with what other people think about us, then we're not in control of our lives, because basically we're allowing everybody else to control what we can and can't do. Just give yourself some space to be exactly how you want to be. Good, so we're going to release this position, and we're going to come into deer. Everybody's favorite, but we're going to do this slightly different. Last week we did twisted deer, and this week we're going to just do the normal deer. So you're going to need a lot of cushions, so just make sure you have a lot of cushions around with you. I'm going to turn this way around first, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I want you to face the short end of your mat. And what we're going to do here is to make sure that the upper leg from the knee to your hip is basically parallel with the outside of your mat. And the lower leg is going to be parallel with the short end of your mat. And I'm going to encourage you also to actually bring the toes slightly forward, so you've almost got 90 degrees at the ankle. So upper leg parallel outside of the mat, lower leg parallel with the short end of the mat, and basically 90 degrees. Now, we're going to place the knee of the left leg behind the heel of the right. Here, it might be a good idea to just put your right arm out so you don't actually fall over. So you can see here that the knee is just behind my heel, and I'm going to make sure that the lower leg is parallel with the outside of the mat, or the other side of the long side of the mat. And then we're just going to fall forward. And what I suggest here, and if you remember I said have a lot of cushions, so we can pile the cushions up here, and we just lie down onto the cushion and just relax completely. So again, as I said before, you're looking sort of 1 millimeter a week, so if you're more flexible, you're going to need less cushions, and if you're less flexible, then you need a lot of cushions. And basically, it doesn't matter how many cushions you need, just that you're as comfortable as possible. That's all that matters.
There's nothing comfortable about this.
There's nothing comfortable about. Thanks, Julia. So if it's uncomfortable, as Julia's feeling at the moment, thank you for that. You can lean out onto the right arm, just make sure the right arm is straight so you don't fall out. And then as we're breathing, become more and more round with the body, so you're just sort of gently coming more and more forward, and then once you're in that position, then maybe the hands can be in this position instead, and then eventually you'll have the elbows down, and then eventually you'll be able to actually just lie down onto the bent leg. It's not important how deep you get into the position. If you're doing it like this, for example, like I am at the moment, then you're doing 100% of what you can do. And for me, if you're doing 100% of what you can do, then you're doing 100% yoga. One of the things that's important for everybody out there to know is that I'm not trying to compete with the sort of the trendy group who are doing extreme yoga positions so that everybody can watch them. That's not what yoga is about. Well, yoga is for you and not really for anybody else. So when I see this, of course it's wonderful, and they've probably been working years and years and years to get into that position, but basically they're sort of missing the point. The point is that the journey to that position is as important, if not more important, than actually being in the position in the first place. So just doing exactly what you can do and nothing more. For those of you new to the channel, this is exactly how I practiced my yoga from day one, because I was extremely physically handicapped. And we'll go into that another time. But I put it this way, if I've been teaching yoga now for 26 years, and I've never actually met anybody who was as physically handicapped as I was when I started. And I've taught thousands of people. I've taught over 15,000 lessons around the world, or classes, whatever you want to call them. So there's no hurry. It's just to do what you can do. And yes, Julia, you can release the position now. We come up out of the position, of course. Good, Marlene. You're into sleep over there. If you start snoring, then I'll come and wake you up.
Please.
I can turn around, sorry. So again, you can stay in the same direction. I'm only turning around so that you can see exactly what I'm doing again. So I start by looking at the upper leg here, and again I want it parallel to the long side of the mat. Use the left hand out to the side this time so you don't fall over. And now move the lower leg so it is parallel with the short end of the mat and approximately 90 degrees at the ankle. So we check everything, good, right, good, no hurry. And then we place the right knee behind the left heel, and making of course sure that the lower leg, I'll move out of the way, the lower leg is parallel with the long side of the mat, the opposite side. And then again, either staying in this position, leaning onto the left arm, or generally coming just a little bit around and using as many cushions as you need, and just bring the head to one side so that you can actually rest into that position. And eventually you will come all the way down to the mat. Be patient with your body here. Remember in the beginning here I was talking about staying in the center of your mind and simply watching. When we're practicing Yin Yoga specifically, we need to focus on actually being in this place as much as possible, so that you're just, everything you do, each breath you take, each position you do, it just becomes an expression of an experience. So you are the observer of what is happening, and there is no judgment, right, wrong, you should, you shouldn't. Let go of all of that. It's not important, promise me, that you do that. All right. And then, of course, we gently come out of this position on this side. Good. Super. It's very nice. Okay, so we're going to lie on the stomach now. And so far we've been practicing a seal position with actually the elbows, so you're supporting the body with the upper arm. So we can do this together. We just lie down onto the mat and just come down as lazily as possible. Just roll down onto the mat, onto the stomach. And as I said before, what we can start with is having the elbows pretty much under the shoulders, so we can just sort of sink down into this position. You can have the feet together and allow the heels to sort of gently fall out to the side. Good. Elbows under the shoulders, of course, and head sitting on the top. Now, as we get used to the yoga, we can start to then come into the full seal position. So that would be the hands slightly forward and having the arms straight. And now just going to sit into this position with the arms straight. So just making a choice if you want to do this position or if you want to do the other position until you're absolutely ready. And one here is important just to focus on relaxing the lower back. And you might notice that when we come up into the position, the heels actually don't drop out to the side as much. They simply come closer together in the center of the mat. And again, I'm not trying to stretch up here. I'm not trying to do a sort of weird cobra position or anything like that. I'm just allowing the body to sink down towards the floor and just breathe. Stay in this position for approximately another 2 minutes. So here we can just add some humming in the breath. So each time you exhale, just and this of course is passing through the nose, so it's not through the mouth this time. Basically it's the same sound as we did before, it's just through the nose. And I want you to focus on the sound inside your head as we do this and the vibration around the body. Make the breath as long as possible. So you've heard me talking about taking a long exhale, feeling how the body sinks into the position. And we can do the same with this, just that we have a sound in the breath at the same time. So deep breath. Feel how the body lifts away from the floor and then gently release the position. And we're going to come back to the knees at the back of the mat. So we're going to do this as gently as possible. Walk yourself back. Place cushions, of course, under the legs or under the ankle, between the legs. And of course, if you wish to, sitting on the bolster between the legs also can be useful. There was somebody who mentioned this week that they use a meditation cushion, these round ones, and you can just sort of prop that between the feet so you can just sit on that. So whatever is comfortable for you, whatever works for you is the most important. Good. So we're going to separate the knees out to the side of the mat. And we're going to come forward with the hands under the shoulders. As usual, we're going to reach out with the right hand, placing it over the mat, and just place it on the mat. Left side, same thing. We're going to come into melting heart, which we've done many times before, with both arms forward in this particular time. So we inhale and exhale back, bringing the elbows down to the mat. You'll notice that the hips and the sort of knees are basically straight under each other. And then we just continue back and bring the forehead and nose to the mat. So we're relaxing the upper back. Now, if it's too uncomfortable for you in the lower back or in the pelvis or in the groin, you can bring the toes together in the center of the mat. This relieves the pressure just a little bit. Hugging the feet even further apart if you're practicing Yin Yoga for some time. Again, make no judgment and don't set any goals. It's not, no, I'm going to get to this or that by next week. No, that's not what we're trying to do. So, just allow the body to be as heavy as possible. Upper back relaxed, chest relaxed. Of course, as the upper back relaxes, you may have to lift the forehead and place the forehead and nose back onto the mat. Please do this as many times as you wish. Just be conscious of this feeling of depth. It's almost like stepping out of your body just for a little while and just watch exactly what's happening. So you're sort of experiencing how it feels, and you're watching. Here we can relax the lower back just a little bit more. And the stomach. Conscious of your heart resting in the center of the chest. And resting into the support. You imagine two hands holding your heart, resting in the support from the earth beneath you. And the heart is sort of melting over the fingers and down into the earth beneath you. Just for these last few seconds, relaxing the knees and the toes, even your fingers. Conscious of the space between the fingers and the hands and the mat. Conscious of the contact. And conscious of the space. And relaxing the upper back just that little bit more, the shoulders. And take a long inhale. And one last time today. Good. So we gently come up out of the position, so coming back up onto the hands. And we can move the knees to one side, so just come down to one hip. Now we're going to come down onto the mat. Good. If that's happening, if you find yourself yawning, perfect. This is exactly what we want. We want the mind and all the sort of frequency of the mind to just sort of drop down. So, it's almost time to sleep. You've got the sweet spot. So we're going to lie on the back. Again, I suggest that you have some kind of support if you need it. The next position is basically a spinal twist. So again, we come down to the mat as gently and as smoothly and as lazily as possible. I suggest that we have a cushion somewhere in the vicinity so that you can place your head on it, or you can place the head directly onto it. And we're going to have the feet together. This position is called twisted root. So imagine the roots of a tree. And for those of you who've been practicing yoga for many, many years, it's very similar to the eagle position. So we're going to cross the upper legs and we're going to roll up onto the right hip and the right shoulder. And we're going to bring the foot under the right leg. So your foot's actually all the way under the lower leg. And here, we can either have the knee on the floor, or as I said, it can be supported on bolster or cushion, but as much as possible, just allowing the knee to come down as close to the floor as possible. Use the pillow, so we're looking out to the right. And we're not going to open the shoulders today, we're just going to rest both hands on top of each other, just on the top of the chest here. And allow the left elbow to be as sort of heavy as possible behind the back. And once we're in that position, and as long as the knee stays on the floor, and we're not trying to force the knee to the floor, it's just pure gravity, we can start to gently look out to the left. I'm just feeling this rotation through the whole of the backbone. Releases a lot of tension from the lower back. We release also a lot of toxins. So we tend to, especially here in Sweden, we tend to be sort of a little bit careful during the winter, make sure we don't slip or slide on the ice. So we have a lot of tension in the lower back and the hips. And this position is extremely effective to release that. So we're talking about sort of releasing tension and anxiety and all these sort of things. There's a lot of other things going on as well. So as we release things from the soft tissues of the body, you're actually releasing toxins as well. Most of these end up in the bloodstream and they tend to leave the body as we breathe. So this conscious breath. As conscious as the inhale and the exhale. So you can sort of almost encourage your mind to actually load up all the toxins into the inhale, and they sort of drive out of the body with the exhale. And just return to the earth beneath you. Good. So we gently release the position, coming back to the center of the mat. Good. And as I said last week, it can be very effective to just sort of use the heels onto the mat here. Make sure that you have the lower back onto the mat here. And then now we can cross the upper legs in the opposite direction. So we're coming up onto the left hip and the left shoulder. We tuck the toe under the straight leg. So in particular now we're going to have the right foot under the left. You can see here, very similar to the eagle position, and just allow the hands to rest gently on the chest. And again here, just going to be more obvious for you on this side. This is my right elbow hanging behind my back here. The right knee is just resting on the floor, or of course on the cushion if you need it. And we allow the elbow to be heavy behind the back, and then of course eventually looking out to the right. But you might end up looking straight towards the top of the room, or you might still prefer to be looking out now to the left. It's whatever you're comfortable with, whatever feels right. Again, we can be conscious of the breath passing in and out of the body. Remember, we're releasing toxins from the soft tissue of the body here, and it's allowing them to come out into the bloodstream and then into your breath, and then just leaving the body. So we're not pushing them out of the body, we're just allowing them to leave. Like just sort of in a truck that's been loaded with things that we can just let go of. You can close the eyes if you wish to. Conscious breathing. Have you heard me talk about the breath being automatic? And it is, of course, but that doesn't mean that we don't need to be or have to be conscious of the breath. It's actually a beautiful process, and the more we watch it, the more peaceful we become. Good. So we gently release this position, coming back again to the center of the mat as beautifully as possible. Again, we can place both heels on the floor, just lift the hip slightly so we can place the lower back onto the mat. And now we're going to slide the left heel out to the left corner of the mat, right heel, right corner of the mat, and relax the shoulders and the arms. Here we can leave the cushion under the head and allow both feet to fall out to the sides. So just a position of relaxation before we move to the next position. Maybe noticing the stillness of the breath, the stillness of your mind. Maybe even the movement in the air that's passing over and around your body. So as I said, this is a position of relaxation between positions. So we're going to bring the feet back together in the center of the mat, arms along the side of the body, and we're going to bring both feet into the buttocks so the knees are together at the top. Then again, we're going to roll out to the right, bringing both knees down and coming up onto the hip and the shoulder. And here we can again use the cushion and I'm just going to stay in this amazing position of relaxation just for a few seconds. And then we place the left hand in front of the chest, and we can straighten here the left leg. This will help you to come up from the mat. So straightening the left leg. Then we just gently press in with the left hand into the mat and on the floor and come up out of the position. So good. So move some things out of the way. And here, if you have a couple of blocks, this is very useful for this position. And if you don't have blocks, then you can use books or anything else that you have handy around you. They don't cost very much, like I said, you can just go buy these in most places. Sport shops, for example, have them pretty much everywhere in the world. So we're going to come to the knees at the back of the mat. And here we don't have to sort of place probably anything under the legs, because we're actually going to come straight forward with the body. And we're going to reach out over the mat. And this time, so you can do that with the block actually, lift it up, lift it out, and then put it down. Okay? I just thought of that. That's fun when I come and new things that I think about. Good. So we can start with the blocks under the shoulders. I'm going to start introducing that. Good. Knees together in the center of the mat. This is fun. Anyway, we reach out with the right arm, so we're not a massive extension, just, and then place it down and do the same on the left. Good. So we're going to come forward now so that we have the shoulders over the wrists, and now we're going to move the right foot to the outside of the right block. And we're going to have the long toe basically parallel with the short end of the block. Good. And then we're just going to sit forward into the left hip. And here we sink down into the shoulders, and then the head just sits on the top. And here we have dragon position. Dragon position. So you're going to feel this stretch probably in the front side of the left hip. And we just sit down. So what's important here is that the knee doesn't pass the toes on the right side, so basically straight down here. There's a straight line, so we don't have the foot in this position, for example, and the heel starts to lift away from the floor. That is why we have the toe parallel with the short end of the block, and then we sit into the left hip. And here we're using the support, of course, from the arms. As you lift the head, you can think about the stomach coming forward as well, chest coming forward, so we're sitting more and more into this position. So basically what you're doing is just sitting into the stretch. Again, sort of giving all responsibility to the earth beneath you to just hold this position for you. Trying to release any control that you have over your body. Just allowing it to be exactly as it is. And that doesn't matter if you're all the way up here. Let's say that you're not very flexible in front of the hip. I certainly wasn't when I started doing yoga. So you're just coming forward to where you can come to. And that will be unique for you. So as this position is a little bit more sort of intense than all the other positions we're doing today, so we're not going to stay in the position for a very long time. Approximately another 15 seconds. Try to get your foot flat on the floor there. Good. So heel, sole of the foot on the floor, point of the toe at the back, sitting into the hip. Good. So we come up off the block and we move the right foot back. So it's now together with the left foot, all the way back. Good, knees together. Try not to move the knees. And then we come forward again with the body over the blocks. And now we're going to lift the left foot forward. Try and place the foot forward. If you have to lift the foot forward, then that's fine. Do that. You can walk the toes forward. I'm not going to move the blocks so you can see what I'm doing. Like this with the toes if you need to, until the toes become parallel with the short end of the block or the books. And then again we come forward, and we're now sitting, of course, into the right hip, or front of the right hip. The other thing that I forgot to say on the other side, and I apologize for that, It's not easy for me to actually demonstrate from this side. But if you can see here, I don't want the knee to fall out to the side here. This creates a lot of stress on the inside of the knee. The tendon here is very sensitive, so we want to keep the knee in towards the body here. And again, we sit down into the position, we use the arms, straight arms, you can look forward, think about the stomach being heavy again, chest forward, dragon position. Make sure the heel is on the floor on the left side, sole of the foot. Again, I want you to think more and more and more about just sitting down into the position. So it's almost like using the tension that we feel in the front of the hip to actually sit into the position. So there's no effort here. You're not trying to hold a difficult yoga position. It's just to come to where you can just sit and just, drink a cup of tea or maybe read a book. So a lot of people in the room here shaking their heads. That's easy for you to say. Yeah, it's a fantastic position. And again, sort of releasing toxins from the body. It's another nice way of thinking about it. So soft tissue of the body releasing. We release that, of course, into the bloodstream and into your breath. And then it just leaves the body without any effort at all. Good. Then we gently release the position, of course, and come back to the knees. So we place the knees together in the center of the mat. You can take the blocks with you if you like, and just push the hips back and slide up to the Kira position. So, place the hands heavy in the arms and the elbows, and just allow that position. Close the eyes. So while we're sitting in this position, I want you to imagine in your mind right now that you're about to clean a mirror in your bathroom with a cloth. And you sort of huff onto the glass so it becomes sort of steamy, and then you sort of polish the glass. So try and find that sound in your breath. Imagine that you have a mirror in front of you. You can lift the right hand if you like and just place it in front of your breath and go. So you can feel the temperature of the breath, you can feel the humidity of the breath. Good. And now continue with this sound, but close the mouth so that the sound only comes out through your nose. Taking in a deep breath and then allowing that sound to come out through the nose. Watch how the sound actually ends up in the middle of your head. Just watching how the sound is not outside your body, it's not surrounding your body, it's actually inside your head. And then for the last minute, we're going to add the sound in and out. So just have just play with this a little bit and just try and find a sound on the way in and a sound on the way out. So, taking one last deep breath, long inhale, long exhale. Feel how the body sinks down into the position. And gently open the eyes. Just take a few seconds here to close the eyes, allow the breathing to be absolutely natural and without control. Shoulders relaxed, and just feeling the stillness and calmness of your body and mind. Just experience this. Especially for some of you that are new, maybe you're not feeling so much of it. It's just even a gentle contrast between how it normally is and how it's feeling right now. And then gently open the eyes. Good. So what I'm going to do is to just gently, as we continue to practice together and as this group gets larger and larger and larger, then obviously there's going to be people who have been with me since we started about 5 weeks ago, and there's going to be other people joining us all the time. They're basically new. So it's always just to come to where you are in your practice. That's really important, and it's important for me to express this. You are welcome whether you're stiff as a plank or a refrigerator, or if you're flexible as a rubber band. I don't mind if you're overweight or too thin, or you're a loud person or a quiet person, you're sort of spiritual person or not a spiritual person. Everybody is welcome in my class, and you can be your individual self in my class, and you will be doing just as much yoga as the person sitting next to you. What I encourage you to do all the time is to be yourself. Don't try and be somebody else, or as flexible as somebody else, or as anything as far as being like somebody else. Just be yourself. And that is what I'm teaching, always, and have done for the last 26 years. If you do that, I promise you that you will feel amazing in a very, very short period of time. So we're going to come to the last position for today, and it is a position that we have done before. I think we practiced it last week. We're going to have the legs up against the wall, and fortunately, because the camera is where it is, I can just turn the mat around. So just find a place beside the wall, and we can place the short end of the mat against the wall. It's actually more convenient for the people in the room because they already have the walls. So, if you're at home, then be very conscious that if you do it against a wall, that's fine. But if you're going to do it against a door, make sure nobody's going to come through the door. That could be a little bit inconvenient. So, of course, taking some responsibility to make sure that you are left in peace at some point. Good. So now we're just going to bring the buttocks against the wall. We can do that however you wish to. And then we just lie down onto the back. So lie down onto the back. Oh, right, sorry. You can have a block or a cushion close to you, and I'll show you why in a second. So we come down. Hopefully you can still see me. And then we're going to just roll over to the back. You can have the knees bent at the moment, and you can have the buttocks as close to the wall as possible. So keep your knees bent at the moment. And there are several different ways of doing this position. So I'm just going to show you first. All we're going to do first is just to straighten the legs. Okay. Now, for some of you, that might not be possible. And in which case, you can just sort of move the body just a little bit further away from the wall. And at the moment, I don't mind if the knees are slightly bent. We're just going to create, again, this heaviness in the body. So it's just pulling the body down towards the floor here. And eventually the lower back will be on the mat, and you'll be able to have the legs straight like this, and the buttocks will be against the wall. However, when I started doing yoga, this was simply an impossibility for me, so I had to actually place something under the lower back here. So it's very much as the support position, like half bridge, for example. You just find a place that you can place something under the base of the spine, and I mean here the base of the spine, not into the lower back. That's very, very important. So just the top of the pelvis, we have a triangle bone just before the tailbone, and we can have that support there, and we can use that or a cushion even, or just roll up a cushion, just to make sure it's nice and comfortable. So again, this is going to be unique to you, and please do not worry if the knees are a little bit bent at the moment. That's fine. All right, so we just use the gravity. You can place the hands under the back of the neck here, and we're just going to hang in this position. So I'm going to just adjust my position so I can come a little bit closer to the wall. And place the hands under the back of the neck, relax the shoulders, close the eyes. And we just focus on the breath. Just allow the breath to be natural, without control. And just gently feeling this stretch. Hamstrings often. So there's two main reasons for having back problems. And one of them is that the hamstrings are too short. That also causes problems with the rotation of the pelvis. And the other is that the stomach muscles are not strong enough, so they're not supporting the spine in a way, so that the spine can move around too much. And that then in itself causes a lot of issues. But one of the main ones, and especially as far as slip discs and that sort of thing is concerned, is more that the hamstrings are too short. So we sort of bend forward to pick something up, and we don't have the flexibility in the back of the legs, and that causes the problem in the lower back. Now, while I've been talking, and of course it's distracting you, as normal, the body has begun to relax. So we just allow the hips to come closer and closer to the floor. Eventually, as I said, the lower back will be on the floor. And if you wish to now, and just for the last minute, or we'll take a minute, you're just going to separate the feet. And again, place the hands under the head. Again, doesn't matter if the knees are slightly bent. For those of you who've been practicing with me for a few weeks, you'll notice now that we have this stretch, which I've been talking to you about before, from the inside of the knee and into the groin. You usually sit on the mat with one leg out to the side, and to create this stretch. So just being aware of this. So as a rule of thumb, when we, for example, do a forward bend, then it's usually we arch the back afterwards. In Yin Yoga, it's not that important to have this contrast all the time. What is important is to be aware exactly of what is happening at all times. And this is a practice in itself. And the less we try to do, the less we try not to think, the quieter the mind becomes, and the more we can listen and watch without being disturbed by what the mind usually does. And now we're just going to release the position. So just coming out of the position however you wish. You can bend the knees and bring the feet down and just roll out to one side. And come up in the most beautiful way possible. Good. Today we're going to finish with a scan of the body. So just a sort of mindfulness practice. Please lie on the back to Savasana, which is the last position for today. So I'd encourage you to place cushions or something under the knees so that the lower back can relax completely. Heels at the corners of your mat, on the right and the left. Allow the feet to fall out to the sides, relaxing the hips just that little bit more. And being completely conscious of your body lying on the floor. Again, each point of contact from the back of the heels to the back of your head. And thanking the earth beneath you for being there and supporting you always. And then, of course, the space. Almost as if all of these areas are just being held away from the floor by the space that surrounds you. Not in a forceful way, but as restful as just being supported from the earth beneath you. Now, if there was a specific breathing technique that we used today that you thought, oh, that was really nice, I liked that, then I would encourage you to just use that just for about 1 or 2 minutes and just let go of any responsibility of the time here. I will allow you to do this in complete silence together, and I will then start to talk again once the time has passed. So just choosing one of the breath work that we've been doing today, or if you don't want to, allow the breath to be natural and without control. out and bringing your focus now to the gentle rise and fall of the body as we sink deeper and deeper into this state of deep, deep relaxation. Relaxing the toes and your feet, the ankles, the lower legs and knees, the upper legs and hips. Relaxing your buttocks, relaxing the right side just that little bit more, and then relaxing the left side just that little bit more. Relaxing the stomach, the chest, the lower back, the upper back, and allowing relaxation to gently move like water in a stream from the back of your head to the root of your spine. This, of course, is only happening in your mind, but allowing the water to collect any last residual tension or toxins from the soft part or the soft tissues of the body through the whole of the spine and pass out into the support from the earth beneath you. Relax the fingers and the thumbs. Allowing the hands to be as heavy as possible. Maybe again here, conscious of the contact, the support from the earth beneath you to your hands, the space also supporting you. Relaxing the wrists, the arms, and both shoulders. Feeling your shoulder blades resting against the floor. Breath around, allowing the relaxation to spread to all the muscles surrounding your shoulder blades, dissolving all tension left in the muscles, allowing the toxins to leave the body, down into the earth beneath you, through your breath. The body becomes lighter and lighter and allowing this lightness to flow through the whole body, the neck, your head, Maybe conscious of the top of your head. The small muscles surrounding your eyes. The small muscles surrounding your lips. Conscious of the breath passing in and out of your lungs. The gentle, soft rhythm of the heart beating in your chest. Effortless. Relaxing the brain and the center point of the brain. And for the last time today, coming to the space of your mind, expanding the space beyond the physical limits of the body. As this space expands, watching a deeper and deeper and deeper awareness of stillness, peacefulness, and harmony. And when you are ready, slowly, gently, and in a way where you give yourself the ultimate respect that you deserve, we come gently up from the position so that we may finish together. Placing the hands gently just in front of your heart. Deep breath together. We exhale forward. Conscious of the breathing and the breath as we inhale coming up. Feeling the body. And then a long exhale as we take the hands gently to the knees. Namaste. Have a fantastic day, beautiful evening, and I will see you in the next class.